Valtteri, it's James.
There's something loose between my legs.
What the f*** is this guy doing? I don't know.
Tripping major nutsack.
Come on! No more radio for the rest of the race.
Hello everyone and welcome along to the Reserve Drivers Podcast for another week live in Japan after the Japanese Grand Prix. So it's time to
splash some ice cold water over your face, get a couple of matchsticks, prop open those eyelids.
Prop open those eyelids. We are here in Japan for one very important reason.
We are here to eat Japanese food.
Wrong reason. Wrong reason. We might do a bit of that later.
So.
I'm Tim. I'm joined as always by a man who, well, last week, let's face it,
didn't have his finest hour, let's put it that way.
Let's put it that way. Lukey boy, welcome along.
Oh, thank you, Timmy. It's great to be here. You know, every week I rock up ready to podcast, and I just can't help but think.
I don't really know why we're doing this.
But straight off the bat, Lukey boy,
Yep.
we've got to celebrate the big championship news. Williams have secured 10th in the championship.
Hey!
Crack open the champagne.
Champagne for all. I didn't think they were going to do it, Timmy. Oh, the
Champagne is flowing. Well done, Williams. So we're celebrating in style, Lukey boy, in our Williams 10th Championship Edition
Check
t-shirts.
these bad boys out.
The losers of 2019, they're available in all good F1 stores.
And not so good F1 stores as well.
And they've done the double as well. They've secured last in the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships.
And it's going to take a great effort. When those rule changes came in, to be able to secure that over the rule change, that's an effort.
I mean, to be continually last in the turbo hybrid era, they don't even have a turbo. So it has been an incredible effort. Well done, Williams, to everyone.
Cheers.
Well done, Williams. They're last in the championship, and George Russell and the entire team are keen to get through the rest of the season as quickly as possible.
Yeah, firstly, quite enjoyed having both qualifying and the race on the same day. Just got it all out of the way with.
Get it all out of the way. Get it all out of the way. This pesky qualifying and the race.
Yeah, they should just do Mexico and the US together. George Russell, it's written all over his face. He wants the season to be done. He wants to be out of Williams, and I think I don't know why. He's getting zero respect. I draw your attention to the driver parade, where all the drivers are driving on old rustic cars and all cool vehicles, vintage.
Historic.
George Russell got a toy. He's riding on a toy car.
He's bigger than the car.
He can't fit in it. He's sitting up like that. He can't fit.
To be honest, that's a better seating position than his current Williams car. He's definitely much more comfortable in the caterer. But well done, Williams, on the achievement. And during the week, they released an official quiz video with their drivers, Robert Kubica and George Russell. Although I'm not sure of some of the questions.
10? 6. It was 11, okay. Oof, 11. Ooh, that's a tricky one. New Zealand? New Zealand. Well, I don't know, so... Total? Oh. Well, I don't know, so... Oh. It's getting complicated.
Plenty of news flying around in the world of Formula One, Lukey boy. So it's inspired a brand new segment.
Probably not the biggest piece of news you'll ever hear today.
And a little bit of news that came across my desk is that Mercedes managed to secure their 6th double Drivers and Constructors World Championship. I hadn't heard it either, Lukey boy, but we should mention it.
Huge scenes down in Mercedes, and geez, Lewis Hamilton, he was over the moon.
Lewis, this is total difficult day today, but we've just won the Constructor Championship for 6th time in a row. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, guys.
Well, that's someone who's over the moon, isn't it?
Couldn't have been happier for them.
What a tough day. What a tough day winning the Constructors and Drivers title.
What an absolute drag on
6
Lewis.
times in a row.
That guy's got an Insta story to write.
They've won the Constructors, and they did it in style, with Valtteri Bottas taking the...
I've never heard that name before.
VB 2.0.
Never heard of him. Is he the porridge guy?
He's the porridge guy. And he took home another win, and we got to see that mean Bottas again, the attitude Bottas, and he was dishing it up to everybody.
Quite a few people say that normally I don't perform in the second half of the season. Like, some people think that's a norm. So for them, I can say F you.
He's F you to them, F you to them.
F you to everyone.
And I want you to check in the cool-down room, and I want you to see the little shade that Valtteri Bottas threw Sebastian Vettel after his dodgy start. Just check out Valtteri.
Start. Like you.
He's unhinged. He's reckless at the moment.
He wins one race and he just tees right off completely. But in a reserve drivers exclusive, Lukey boy, I happen to know the reason behind Valtteri Bottas' success. Of course, the Japanese Grand Prix was temporarily sidelined on Saturday, Lukey boy, by a super typhoon. And a lot of the drivers were taking the opportunity to have a bit of fun away from the racetrack, except for one man in particular. See if you can pick who.
Well, I got my PlayStation here, so I'll for sure play a few games on that.
Play some FIFA, some PlayStation.
FIFA.
Netflix and chill.
Swimming. We have a bowling place.
We'll try to learn and dig into the data as well.
Try to learn and dig into the data. Valtteri Bottas, what are you doing? And it's actually inspired a brand new tour, Lukey boy. May I present Valtteri Bottas's Summer Fun Camp, the ultimate holiday fun experience for you and the whole family. Plenty of fun activities, including digging into the data, analysing simulations, and who could forget, try to optimise performance to unlock the maximum for your package. That's fun for the parents as well. Valtteri Bottas's Summer Fun Camp. That's where I'll be going at the end of the year, Lukey boy.
Tim, we mentioned that drivers had a little bit of time to kill.
Qualifying moved from Saturday to Sunday morning.
And we learned something about what Checo Perez likes to do in his time off.
You really enjoy going to see them on your spare time?
Dancer.
Close. Keep trying.
Stripper.
There you go.
Okay. So
He's going to be praying for some more super typhoons, no doubt about that.
I'm not sure what he's doing, although I think Will Buxton does.
Perez buffed it off.
Can we say buffed at this time slot?
You can't, but if you're at a strip club, you most certainly can.
Hey, buff off, everybody. Of course, the drivers were looking for ways to pass the time on Saturday, Lukey boy, with no qualifying, but Romain Grosjean found an interesting way.
I've actually built myself a small, the Tyrrell, the six-wheeler, Formula One, to build in plastic.
He was building a model figurine of the Tyrrell six-wheel Formula One car.
Alone. I mean, I'd rather Valtteri's Summer Fun Camp.
I'd rather dig into the data. But hats off to Grosjean, Lukey boy. He managed to complete the model, looked fantastic. You and I didn't have the same luck, Lukey boy, when we attempted to build a model of Haas's 2019 four-wheeler. Radio, Lukey boy, let's do it. Building the Haas 2019 car.
Okay.
Let's give it a go.
Ooh.
Step 1, assemble the car.
Yeah.
We can do that. Step 2, disassemble the car.
What?
Disassemble the car?
Okay.
Step 3, revert back to step 1 Melbourne spec. How does that even...
All right.
Here we go. Step 4, add upgrades. There we
check.
go. Step 5, remove upgrades. Step 6, publicly attack engineers.
So we had quali and the race on the same day. And in the morning, it started beautifully for Ferrari. We had Charles and Seb taking the front row, all looking good. And then it only took lap 1 of the race for this to happen.
It's all going wrong for the Scuderia.
Lap 1. Lap 1.
That's the name of this season as well, by the way. It's all going wrong for the Scuderia. Of course, the weekend started off well for the Scuderia, Lukey boy, locking out the front row in qualifying. And it started off even better for them earlier in the week because they took part in a celebration of traditional Japanese culture.
That's why we wanted today to see how Seb and Charles get along doing origami. So whenever you want, we start.
Now, did you see that, everybody? Did you see that?
What are we looking at?
Did you notice that? Let's go to the footage one more time.
The origami. So whenever you want, we start.
Look at that. Charles has jumped the start. He has jumped the start. Ferrari have done it again. First in the race with Vettel. Second in the origami challenge with Charles. Let's go to the super slow motion replay. There he is. He's moved. He's moved before the lights have gone out. He's moved before the lights have gone out.
He didn't go past the sensor. He didn't go past the sensor.
He triggered that off. That is a 5-second origami penalty. He has triggered the sensor. Ferrari. It's a culture of jumping the start down there at the Scuderia.
I'm going to say it. Doing origami is a penalty in itself.
But it was a very productive origami session for Charles Leclerc, Lukey boy. He managed to build himself a new mirror after his blew off in the Japanese Grand Prix.
He would have had a busy origami class building mirrors and an end plate that he lost as well.
But when it comes to origami, Lukey boy, Charles and Seb are way overlooked by the team at Toro Rosso. Danny Kvyat and Pierre Gasly took part in an origami lesson.
What's another team doing origami?
And here are the highlights.
We're trying to make an F1 car. This is the rear wing.
This looks more like a pig than anything else.
Yours looks like a ferret in surgery or something, I don't know. Turn the paper over to the white side, but they are both white.
Ferret in surgery is giving us a real insight into Daniel Kvyat's childhood.
They used a lot of paper in there, but fortunately they did have a supply of spare paper. They used Pierre Gasly's Red Bull contract.
Oh no.
Great for origami. Unsigned, so that was the perfect paper to use.
No.
They had plenty of that lying around.
I happened to watch the origami video too, Timmy boy. I was just so focused and loved it. And I couldn't help but notice something just at the back of the screen there. I want you to have a look at the back and just see who makes an appearance. It's Team Boss Franz Toss. And he just has a little look. Now, Tim, I've got a question for you. If you're the team boss of a major F1 team and you've seen your drivers do a little origami, you've got a lot of things on your mind. Do you A, go on with your normal life and go on with sorting the team out? Or do you B?
Look at your beautiful car. doesn't look a lot better.
Look at your centipede. This is the F1 car in France. Does it look like?
Hopefully not Sunday after.
France.
That's a toss to the toss.
A toss to the toss.
You may have seen Daniel and Pierre really laugh at Fran's joke then, and I think that's wise from them, because you don't want to be on the bad side of the toss.
You don't want to be in the toss bad books.
And someone who is Renault's Cyril Abiteboul, who I think is in the bad books with a lot of people. I'm a bit of a history buff, as you know, and I've done a bit of a deep dive, and I've managed to find an interview where Franz Tost is airing his displeasure with Cyril Abiteboul. Okay, after Abiteboul accuses Tost
of a bit of bull?
of a bit of bull of foul play with the Renault engine, okay? Just have a listen to Franz.
You know who started with all this nonsense? Cyril yesterday, with his stupid interview. Should I say, oh fine, good interview from him, we accept it? No, we don't accept it. And therefore we came out with our statement. That's it.
I don't have anything to say. There was no reason for me to play that, but...
From the archives, a walk down memory lane. What a stupid interview that was. Of course, difficult weekend for Max Verstappen. Lukey Boy retired the car early on in the Japanese Grand Prix. Unfortunately, it was out of the race early, Lukey Boy, but well done to the Red Bull pit crew who managed to get him out in the sister spare car. Although even that car had to retire.
Oh, no.
Didn't go all too well in the Japanese go-kart competition, Lukey Boy, although managed to score some very good points with the style judges.
7,8,6,9,9!
Well done to the designers on that one. Can't build a motor car, but gee, it looked good.
I'm pretty sure that's the CEO of Honda there at the end.
I'm pretty sure that's the ratings for this podcast as well, by the way.
We'll take that. The Japanese Grand Prix. It is a favourite of the drivers, and it's not just because of the amazing corners and the high-speed action, but I wager it's because of the marshals, Tim.
The marshals?
Now, it's a bit of marshal action going on. I'll tell you what, in qualifying, Robert Kubica binned it within the first minute of quali, but that's okay. And the marshals, well, they were just out in full force. Check out this vision. Look how many marshals there are. They've come from everywhere. They've all got the brooms.
That looks like a Star Wars army. How many marshals are there?
I have it on great authority that Ross Brawn and Chase Carey have hired those marshals to sort out the 2021 regulations. They were almost a bit too prepared for Robert Kubica's outlap.
When the marshals outnumber your pit crew, you know that you're not quite rated as a driver anymore.
But it was a rough session for Kubica, a rough weekend. He's copping it from everybody, including the Sky Sports TV broadcast graphics guy. So have a look at this. Let's just take a look at these last 5 races, as if everyone has forgotten.
Hey, that DNF was well earned in Russia, by the way. Speaking of Sky Sports graphics, Lukey Boy, they brought a brand new graphic this weekend at the Japanese Grand Prix.
Look at these graphics, they're brilliant. You can see the condition of Hamilton's tyres there.
The brand new tyre wear graphics showing exactly the condition of the tyres, and we've actually been inspired by that, Lukey Boy. If you look at the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you'll see our condition as hosts, and you'll see it's been a long year.
Okay, yeah.
We are definitely failing.
Look, I'll be the first to say that I've been experiencing some severe joke degradation.
Lukey Boy, we like to have a laugh from time to time at the lighter side of Formula One, the stuff-ups, the mistakes, the commentary cock-ups. But need I remind you and the viewers, Lukey Boy, that we are very much still a hard-hitting Formula One podcast, so it's time to celebrate the best in-depth analysis and dissections from the race weekend in a brand new segment called... Technical talk, Lukey Boy. Formula One is a technical sport and sometimes requires some very technical talk. And we're going to celebrate the best of it in this brand new segment, starting with this excellent explanation of the complex process of qualifying from Sky Sport F1's Paul di Resta.
If you're on pole position, you're still the guy at the front of the grid.
Did you catch that, everybody? Technical talk. If you're the guy at the front of the grid, you're the guy on pole position.
That is as technical as you can get. That is a winning segment, Tim. And the only thing I've got to ask you is, there's only 4 races left, and you've saved that. Where was that around China?
We didn't have the budget for that segment earlier in the year, Lukey Boy. But
is that where our money's gone?
I found $2 under the couch, and we put it to those graphics.
Look, that was some technical talk from Paul di Resta.
I think we're going to need to lie down in a minute there.
And it wasn't the only technical talk from him, because he provided this amazing insight during the race.
Well, he's making a move down the inside, Paul. How do you see that one?
Whoa, he's not stopping, is he?
He wasn't stopping, no, Paul.
That's why he's the best of the best. That's why he's an expert commentator.
I tell you what, though, Crofty was just happy that Paul di Resta replied to him, because earlier in the race, this happened.
Does that make Mercedes Constructors champions? By my logic, it does.
I wasn't really listening to you there, sorry, Crofty.
Oh no, Paul. Does make sense, though, why I saw this lurking out Crofty's dressing room. That's a man, where is he?
Where is Martin Brundle?
We miss him, Crofty misses him.
If you or anyone you know has any information on the whereabouts of Martin Brundle, please write to us in the comments below. But di Resta isn't just great friends with David Croft, Lukey Boy. He's also best buddies with Lewis Hamilton. So it's time for a very special edition of Two Best Friends. We do this segment throughout the year, Lukey Boy.
Yeah, we've done it all year, and I've never seen any comment warranting that. No one's ever really said they like it, but we persist.
In spite of popular opinion, we do this segment every week. It's to celebrate Lewis Hamilton's friendships with the men and women of the media. First it was Rosanna Tennant, then it was Jenson Button, but at the weekend, he was giving nothing to Sky Sport F1's Paul di Resta.
Lewis Hamilton, how are you?
You've got a friend in me.
Do you suspect that you and Valtteri will be battling out all the way a bit more freely that Constructors' Championship's over and done with?
Well, it makes no difference because we've been racing freely all year, so.
Yeah, but it'll be a hard fight all the way to the end.
For sure.
Okay, all the best.
You got a friend in me.
Lewis and Paul, two best friends.
That was well handled by di Resta, okay? And it was great to see him handle himself a lot better than what he did when he was racing in a DTM race. He went into pit, his pit wasn't there, and he wasn't happy.
I said purple.
The radio didn't fucking work. My fucking radio doesn't work. Don't speak to me. I can't find it on the fucking radio.
Well, one of the ways that the radio worked, we heard that. That's some very technical talk there from Paul di Resta.
I'd like to see that in commentary.
And if you look at the bottom right-hand of the screen, you can see that the radio wear graphic is showing a complete lack of radio. Lukey Boy, it's fair to say that you didn't spend a lot of the weekend watching the Japanese Grand Prix, just to dig through the archives.
Look, I'm going to put my hand up here and say that I'm very light on current modern content, but look, you give me some history stuff, I'll give you material.
And the judges are loving it.
7, 8, 6, 9, 9!
In fact, here's an idea. If you have a historic piece of Formula One footage you want Lukey Boy to check out, write to us in the YouTube comments below. We'd love to see your archive vision. Of course, Saturday qualifying was moved because of the Super Typhoon, Lukey Boy. Everyone was unhappy with the Super Typhoon, although Will Buxton accused it of criminality.
One of the biggest typhoons that Japan has allegedly ever seen.
Allegedly. It's not a war criminal, it's a typhoon. I think we can call it a typhoon.
I think we're allowed to. Speaking of crime, Tim, I'd like to talk about racial profiling.
Now, a lot of people have accused us of being a light-hearted Formula One podcast, but it's time to tackle the big issues, the big talking points, racial profiling. And who better to discuss it than two white guys? Over to you, Lukey Boy.
During the race, David Croft gave us Aussies a little bit of a shout-out.
You're kidding.
And if you're enjoying lunch in Australia, I hope that there are enough shrimps on the barbie to keep you well satisfied.
Oh, that is racial profiling at its worst.
Yeah, well, sorry, I missed the race because I was riding on my kangaroo.
Hey, my dingo ate my shrimp. What are you talking about? That is racism at its worst.
In top 5 quotes of the reserve drivers is, I think the dingo ate my shrimp.
Big weekend for McLaren, Lukey Boy. Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris came to Japan with one clear focus.
Hey guys, we are here to eat Japanese food.
I tell you what, those two are a lovable duo.
They love each other and they love Japanese food. Or do they? Oh. Lukey Boy, it's time to put your knowledge, your skills to the test in the return of our favourite segment. Here's how it works, Lukey Boy. I'm going to be playing you a piece of footage from the McLaren Japanese taste test, and I'm going to be testing your skills, your knowledge, your perception. Does Carlos Sainz likey or no likey?
It's pancake.
It's Pika Pika.
Pika Pika. Pokemon Go. Pancake? Yes, is a standard pancake?
Pausing it there, Lukey Boy. Here's your question. Does Carlos Sainz likey or no likey, the Pikachu pancake?
Okay, because he said the word pancake about 15 times, I'm going to say likey.
You're going to say likey?
Signsy likesy.
Lukey's going to lock in likey?
Lukey locks in likesy for Signsy.
Let's go to the video.
This for me is a 5.
Oh! It's a no likey. It's a Pokemon no for Carlos Sainz on the Pokemon Pikachu pancake. That's a little bit harsh on the pancake from Sainz, Lucky Boy. The other judges scored it much higher.
7、8、6、9、9!
Time for some more breaking news, Lucky Boy.
Tim, I'm worried we're confusing our brand with all this news.
I'm worried we didn't have enough jokes this week, Lucky Boy, so we're going to have to go to hard reporting. One of the enormous stories from the Formula One weekend, Lucky Boy, was Racing Point handing Renault a 12-page dossier complaining about the legality of some of their brake bias components.
So I saw this, but it made no sense to me.
Well, in a reserve drivers exclusive, I happen to have in my hands the official dossier from Racing Point. There it is there.
Have a look at that.
It is it's a hefty document, 12 pages, 11 of which are just taking up spelling the name of the Racing Point team.
Each page written by a different member of the consortium.
Well, I have it on very good authority that Sergio Perez wanted to present it to Renault by making it rain, like he does at the strip club.
Yeah, he tried to stuff this down someone's pants and it didn't work.
Dossier. But in another reserve drivers exclusive, Lukey Boy, Racing Point didn't just present this to Renault in dossier form.
Oh, no?
Because as Racing Point well know, Lukey Boy, there's only one way to break big news like this to Renault. Well done, Mercedes. They've done the double for the 6th time in a row, the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship, and of course it was about one man and one man only, Nico Rosberg.
I thought we were going to go through a whole podcast without mentioning Vlogsberg.
We're mentioning him, and let's see how quickly Nico Rosberg can turn a wonderful Team Mercedes victory into a personal story about himself.
Let me just say that I think Suzuka is one of the weakest tracks for Lewis because I beat him in qualifying 3 times in a row. I had three poles there in a row from 2014, 15, 16.
Not one to live in the past is Nico, not one to talk about himself. He very much plays his own personal achievements on the download.
I didn't realise he was such a stats man. So where is he now? In a boardroom?
He appears to be in some upmarket B&B retreat. I'm pretty sure he's been kidnapped. He is on the move. The kidnappers have got Rosberg and they're moving him at a rapid rate of knots. I mean, forget the Mercedes PU. The engine that the kidnappers are using to move Rosberg from location to location. I mean, Nico, send a finger. Do whatever you've got to do. We want to make sure that you're okay. Because Nico's been on the toilet during these vlogs. He's been in the shower during these vlogs. But this week, he was doing something a lot more gross.
And so there, certainly, I think Ferrari deserved to get a 10-second penalty.
Oh, Nico! What are you doing? Hands where we can see them at all times, Nico. Is he touching the gunt?
I don't know.
If that involves a GoPro and an ass, he's in trouble. Rightio, Lukey boys, that time of the podcast, time to bolt on the softs and have a crack at the fastest joke.
Now, there has been pandemonium in the comments section, repeating, why aren't you doing fastest joke? Where's fastest joke? No fastest joke.
The simple answer is we don't have any regular jokes, let alone fast ones, but we've found a couple. We've scraped the bottom of the barrel. Ready, Lukey boy?
Yeah. We're in Japan, okay? The Japanese...
Hang on. You regularly chastise me for my use of setups in the fastest joke, and here you are providing a little bit of extra context for your joke.
Okay.
This counts.
All
This
right.
absolutely counts.
I don't need
I'm
anything.
starting the timer.
No,
I'm starting the
okay.
timer. It slides out, and away you go.
There were 2 sushis, Sushi A and Sushi B. Sushi A bumped into Sushi B at a sushi bar and said, "Hey, wasabi." Hey.
That broke 2 of the qualifications. It was neither fast nor a joke, but you did that remark in 8:33.
That's long. That's not fast
That's
at all.
not fast at all. I can just say anything and I'll beat that.
Alrighty, Timbo, your time to shine. Are you ready?
I am so confident that I can beat an 8:33 that I'm going to include my normal setup outside of the timer in the time itself.
So you're going to cheat within the rules.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm ready to do it.
Hang on, I got to prepare a 12-page dossier. And it's lights out and away we go.
Kimi Räikkönen celebrated a big milestone, Lukey boy, his 40th birthday. Well done, Kimi Räikkönen. What's the time on that joke?
Look, I even let it go a few extra seconds, but it was a 6.55.
6.55.
Well
He's done it again.
I'll give you that one.
Even without a joke, I've managed to romp home with the fastest joke.
Hopefully that gave you a little bit of idea why we don't necessarily jump to do fastest joke every week.
We need another 4 weeks off after that one, Lukey boy. We'll see you in Abu Dhabi. That's it for another episode of the Reserve Drivers Podcast, Lukey boy. What did the judges think of it?
7、8、6、9、9!
You can catch us on all your socials at the Reserve Drivers, reservedrivers.com for all the articles, and check out the podcast as well on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget in the comments your historical memories, your historical footage. Send it in.
If you've got a historical highlight that you want highlighted on this show, send it in at the comments below. We're off to Valtteri Bottas' summer fun camp, Lukey boy. We're going to dig into the data.
I'm going to hang out with Checo and his dancers.
I'm off for a Pikachu pancake. We'll see you next week in Mexico.
There's only 4 races left.
That's it. Nothing to say.
Step 75. Take credit for change of direction of Lego house package.
How do I even do that?